Hello! In yesterday's video, I asked you if you wanted to see the swatching of this Schpirerr Farben watercolor set. Yeah, I still don't know how to say that. I won't know how to say that ever. Or if you wanted to see what was in the Smart Art box. And I did receive 2 votes as of the time of this videoing that said Smart Art. However, the votes took a couple hours. So I ended up doing this instead because it's kind of what I had prepared to do. So, sorry for those of you who voted, but we are going to be doing the Schpirerr Farben watercolors, which is still really exciting because we've never heard of these before. So, let's get into it. Smart Art box will be coming up, so stay tuned for that, but not in this video. I am Miranda, and on this channel we do all things watercolor, and we play with some other art supplies once in a while too because it's fun to do that. Today we have these Schpirerr Farben watercolors, and on Amazon they claim that they are the exact same formula as more very expensive, high quality, artist grade watercolors that they won't name. So we are going to try it out. So I am really curious about these, so let's just get into them and see. I won't make you sit through me opening all of these, but let's open one and see what we have. Paper wrapper. Burnt sienna, no pigment information. I think this was like $17.97. And yep, no pigment information or anything at all. All right, back to this. Paper wrapper, foil. This is gonna take a while, but I'll do one with you. Like I said, I'll fast forward the rest. Okay, here is what it looks like. It falls out. No big deal. Just thought you might want to know. So I will unwrap these and get right back to you. They are all unpackaged and labeled, just the name and the brand, SF. That's how I chose to abbreviate it, is all that's on here. But you can see these are really loose. They would never stay in. So in case you didn't know, I'm sure you probably do, you just have to push these metal tabs towards you and then away from you on this side. Make them really tight because these will push them open as you put them in. I labeled them with, well, these are a purple Sharpie. This is a black Posca because it kind of worked a little better. These little metal tabs are like way softer than I'm used to, but that's okay. We're going to get them all in. They're all in, and I literally cannot get them any tighter. So if this little bit of wiggle room bothers you, then just stick something that's sticky on the bottom of this and then stick it in, or even a magnet, and it'll stay put. But it should be okay for now. We'll see. Let's get them swatched already. Got this already. Let's do it. Now remember, on these we don't have any pigment information, so we are just shooting in the dark here. This one is light yellow. See how well they re-wet. Seem a little bit more hard than Paul Rubens, but we will find out. Patience, patience. See, I have a hard time with this because paint on paper in any which way is so awesome to me that I love it. Light orange. Let's see what this looks like. That one re-wets nicely. Light red. I grabbed orange. You did not see that. Light red. Oh, nice. That's one thing I noticed with the Paul Rubens set. The orange, actually it was the red, cadmium red light, I think, that they had in that set was very orange. And so when I did those Santa legs sticking out of the chimney, I was like, I kind of need a red. So I had to make one, and it worked just fine, but it was interesting. Deep crimson. Oh, pretty. Yellow ochre. Looks very green in the pan. We'll see. Yeah, that's a very green yellow ochre. Oh well, that's all right. And again, this is not how I would normally label my pan. So when I did these swatch sheets, I wondered what I was thinking. Like, Why would I not put them in the order that I'm used to? But whatever. We will try something new and see what we think, as usual. Burnt sienna. Pretty typical burnt sienna, it seems like. I like that one. Leaf green. Yeah, all these others are re-wetting nicely, so not sure if that light yellow was just a fluke or if I just didn't know what I was doing yet or what, but there we go. Leaf green. There was only one green in the Paul Rubens set. That was the emerald green. So I didn't try making other greens yet because I didn't do a painting with any greens in it, but I will try that later. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. Yeah, so this sea green is just like the emerald green in the other one. Prussian blue. Oh, yes. I love Prussian blue. It's funny because when I swatch it, it's so gorgeous. I absolutely love it. But do I use it in my paintings? Not a whole lot, actually, which is interesting. But I love the swatches of it. It's so gorgeous. Now this ultramarine blue in the pan here looks a little bit opaque. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see what it looks like on the swatch sheet. Yeah, it looks like it has a little white in it. Interesting. Not sure what that's about. Now we have violet. And the black. Plain old black. And here they are. What do you guys think? It's hard to tell from swatches, isn't it? It's just, yeah, whatever. You gotta paint with it. And again, just like Paul Rubens, these are drying up really fast in the pan. So again, that will be great for traveling. You can use the colors and then a few moments later, you can just shut it up and not have to worry about that. So that's kind of neat. Let's paint with this and see what we think. I just remembered we have this little swatch sheet thing from the company itself. They think their main three colors are the Prussian blue, the light yellow, and the deep crimson. So I figured we should try it out. So let's do this. I think this paper feels really, really smooth, so it's gonna be kind of silly, but I don't know. Let's do some mixes, see what we think. Yeah, so several times in this video, I'm like, hey, let's paint now. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I forgot about this. And that's okay, because I actually had a ridiculously fun time doing this little color chart. It was fun working on this slick paper, and the mixes just turned out so pretty. I was actually really impressed with those three color mixes. You can see the variety that we got here. Very nice. Based on this, you could just have those three colors alone and have a huge selection of really nice colors. So it's really cool they put that in here like that, because it gives you the idea of what you can make with this. Thumbs up on that. Let's paint. Oh wait, did I say let's paint again? I meant let's not paint, because we need to do our Lightfast swatches real quick so we can put them in the window and check on them 3, 6, 9 months later. So stay tuned for that. So, you know how in the last video I said you can't tell a whole lot just by swatching, that you kind of have to wait for painting? Well, that's not entirely true in this case. So that one here is supposed to be ultramarine blue. Definitely has white in it, and it is a lot lighter than ultramarine blue normally is. The black is also kind of not very pigmented. However, I mean, the yellow ochre is a little off color too, but the rest of that I can't tell yet. But yeah, those two are suspicious. So let's just paint and see what we come up with. For our painting, we are going to use this Etcher sketchbook, and this is the one that we did the Daniel Smith painting in. So I will just mark off another little section here, and we will do these. So it's taken me a few minutes to get set up here for this painting, and while that was going on, these dried. And can you see how they have cracked up from the pan? I'm not really sure you can see that. Well, shoot. However, they have cracked up from the pan. That's not something I've noticed in most other paints, so I don't know what that means. We will find out. Let's paint. I'm going to do a painting that has a lot of greens. This set has these two greens in it, so in order to get all the greens I want, I will have to do a lot of mixing, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. And hey, guess what? Finally, when I say let's paint, we're actually painting this time, instead of doing something else that I forgot about. I'm starting out with the yellow ochre, that's the sky color there, and then adding in my greens, a little bit of the burnt sienna, and just kind of pulling this little landscape together. It's kind of a sunset landscape. So sun is shining on certain places, but not other places. We have some cliffs and whatnot. And one thing that I am still learning with this etcher paper is how long it stays wet. So I'm like, okay, it's safe to go over this with a different color. Well, guess what? It's not. It holds water for a really long time. And so a lot of my colors just kind of blended together. So that's on me. I still have to learn a little bit more about my etcher sketchbook, but it's really fun to do that. You can see how that burnt sienna is right there is bleeding into the sky. It's actually okay. It turns out really pretty later, but yeah, things I have to learn with my sketchbook. I love working in this sketchbook though. The paper is nice, it's forgiving. I can lift when I want to, although some of that has to do with the paint as well, and this paint lifted really well. Regardless, at some point I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to let this dry because I really want to get this detail in here, and so eventually I let it dry and then I come back with a slightly smaller brush to get in those cliff details. I had no problem with this paint at all. I didn't notice anything, like nothing stood out to me like, oh, this is really bad, or oh, this is really good, or anything like that. It did re-wet really easily. I made any color variation that I wanted to, and here you can see that I'm like, you know, I'm not quite done painting with this. Don't want to do anything else really serious, but a little bookmark type of thing would be really fun, just to get all the colors out and get them on the paper. And you can see they kind of combined, and I went over a few again, but that is what it looks like at the end there. So I know you guys were probably hoping for like a miracle and I could tell you exactly what I thought about these paints, but I really can't. We're going to have to wait for the Lightfast test to come back. We're going to have to paint with these more and see what we think. But do stay tuned because I have an update on some of the Etcher Lightfast and a few other things that I want to show you at the end there and some bloopers. So I wanted to show you how I put the Lightfast test in my window, and my window's dirty, so ignore that, but I'm just taping them in this window. It gets a lot of sun, and you can see there, the one on the far right is the Etcher, and I put that in there November 18th, so less than a month ago, and a lot of the colors are really fading already. Look at that. It's really surprising. So those are supposed to be really light fast, and it just doesn't look like they're very light fast. So we're gonna have to keep checking that one and see what we think as we go into the months. Hello, yesterday. Thank you, fire. Artistic brands, wait, what's the right word for that? Am I gonna say it? And on their website, no, it is not their website. What is, whoa, I have no idea how to talk. Shit. It's a video. The light blue. I knew what I meant. Ba-ba-bum. Let's just get into it already.